Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. My name's Jake Cox. Welcome back. And in today's video, it is a big talk about football, episode 12. So, welcome back. Good evening, everybody in the chat. I hope you are doing all right. Got lots of fans coming on tonight. Got a few West Ham fans coming on at the end to talk West Ham. But before that, we do a bit of non-West Ham stuff. So just before I do get into it, I'd like to say a huge thanks to Charlotte Bateman for stepping out of her comfort zone on Sunday to come on. Check out on the channel all about Bateman's. It was good, and we're trying to get it up to 1,000 views. So that will be greatly appreciated. And also happy birthday to a huge West Ham fan, Parker Latham. I know you are watching, so there you go. Happy birthday. I hope you've had a good day. And yeah, happy birthday. So get all of your comments in the comments. 7 people watching. Good evening, guys. But without further ado, I might just like to say a huge congratulations to Baz Cox, who's started up Isla Caton's Claret Brahmi TV. Go over, hit the subscribe button, help little Isla out because she needs it at the moment. So make sure you go over, help her out, which will be greatly appreciated by Baz and Isla. So without further ado, we've got a couple of guests to come on now. Firstly, we've got Dave, who is a Man United fan. Dave, how are you?
Good evening, Jake. I'm very good, thank you. Good to see you. Good show as usual.
Thank you very much. So just tell us about the YouTube channel you run and just plug yourself.
Yeah, we've started a YouTube channel as well, and a bit of a movement in football, really. Proper United, it's called, because we've got sick of the anti. Well, they're supposed to be fan cams, but they're more anti. They abuse the players and the clickbait, and they just. Some of us proper supporters, we've got sick of it. So we're coming on and we're saying, look, that's not how you support your football team. You support your football team. You don't criticise them. Don't get me wrong. We all have a moan about the game and he didn't play, but it's a team thing rather than a vilifying. You probably get it at your team as well. I don't see as much, obviously, but one player has a bad game and it's just too much. You know what I mean? You should get behind your team no matter what team you support. If you listen to some of the old players, they're saying what they really enjoyed was the undiluted support. So we're trying to instill a bit of education into some of the younger fans as well, that that the best thing to do is get behind your team.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure you go over there, subscribe to them, and we've also got T, who's been on before. T, good evening.
Hi there, Jake. Nice to see you again. Hiya, how are you, Dave?
Good evening. So we'll get into it first. Dave, you haven't been on this show before, so how did you become a Man United fan?
Well, I suppose all my family are Irish Catholics, come over in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And being an Irish family background, even though my name's Baker, mum married, every one of them, even from my grandmother down, was just Manchester United. Man, it's just inbred in the whole family. You support. I think my mother's got 11 brothers and sisters, so I think and they've all got 3 or 4 sons or daughters. So you've got all these cousins, and there's about 3 City supporters in the whole family, So it's just grown from there, from being 7, going to the match when I was 7. And I used to go on my own and meet my cousin halfway at the bus. So I'd get on the bus at one end, meet him halfway, be shouting down, I'm on this one. But he was like 14, so it was all right. So I used to meet him halfway and then we'd go to the game. So really instilled off me from my family. That's and it's just been my life ever since, whole life.
Yeah, definitely. T, coming to you, you got a good win against Newcastle. Was it a couple of days ago or yesterday? What's your thoughts on that game? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. I nearly nodded off in the first half, but as we've done of late, we came good in the second half, and great 3 goals. And I mean, Oba missed 2 goals, 2 great chances in the first half, but the youngsters coming through, particularly Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, and Tierney, Holding, Behrens great, Partey coming back. So yeah, second half was the Arsenal we want to see from the get-go, not just the beginning of the second half of games.
Jake, may I ask T a question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How do you feel about Arsenal TV? Because we've got a few fan cams that are getting more stronger in opinion, but they just seem to be negative. And what I see off Arsenal TV,
I don't personally watch Arsenal TV. I am subscribed to a blog called Ars Blog. And
excellent. So you're of the same,
and they do very good.
Yeah. Well, so your opinion is you don't watch them because of the way they are. Yeah, it seems to be becoming more and more around clubs.
It's like you say, the negative.
Oh, it's killing it. It's killing it.
It's the youngsters.
Yeah. It's quite a mixture though in the Manchester United supporters. Yeah. So we're trying to say, look, that's not the way you support your team.
Yeah,
you support means supporter. Yeah, and they criticise us rather than support us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Win or lose, have a booze, as we say.
Win or lose, absolutely, you do. Yeah.
And so, Dave, good win against Fulham yesterday. I think, I believe 2-1. What was your thoughts on that?
First 15 minutes, we was under the cosh a little bit. Went behind, got into the game a bit more. But at the moment, I hope it stays for a while. We've got this feeling that we're always going to score. So I'm not sure if we was going to win last night, but we was always going to score one back. And then when you do get that other goal, you then think, oh, we're going to score another one. So there's a bit of a confidence in the team, and it's a slow momentum. It's like the feel. It's only early days. It's a momentum of the United are getting stronger and stronger, slowly and slowly. It's a great result for us to go back top of the league. It's really good this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. For you as a Man United fan, I think, you've got a chance this season. So let's move on to the FA Cup then. So T, coming to you first. So I believe you've got Southampton. I think that was Tuesday or Wednesday night. That was confirmed. Southampton, in the cup. Are you confident going into that?
What you don't know, Jake, is that my husband and my son are Southampton fans, and our best friends Ruth and Baz. Hi, if you're watching. They're all Southampton fans. So it's a good job we've got more than 2 TVs in the house, because we could be in separate rooms. But it couldn't be, closer together. Saturday lunchtime, Tuesday evening, and may the best team win. No, Arsenal, obviously. Yeah. But we've got to start off. We've got to start from the beginning, like we start our second half. So we've got to be switched on, and just hope. Sorry about this, Saints family friends. That Danny Ings isn't available.
Good player.
Definitely.
Great player.
Yeah. So we've got another fan coming on now. Who does run his own YouTube channel. James, who's a Liverpool fan. James, good evening. How are you?
Very, very well. Thank you very much. How you doing? All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. So tell us about your YouTube channel. I'm going to put it up on screen now. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Think Twice Media's is a podcast channel mostly dedicated to sport and football. And as you can see on your screen there now, we like to delve into the top 10 series that we do, which is, for instance, the top 10 players that you forgot played for England. So from a football nostalgia perspective, it's actually quite cool. It's something that, for instance, I don't know, you're too young to have a wife, young man, but when they're asleep and the kids are asleep and you like to go through YouTube, that's the sort of stuff I like to look at, and games gone by and to check back in the history of things. But also the other thing that we offer as well is we've interviewed some of the most famous names from my youth, really. So people like Kit Simons, ex-centre-back for Crystal Palace and Manchester City, we've interviewed him, and a lot of people from the boxing community and world as well. So British current middleweight champion Denzel Bentley's been interviewed by us as well. And we've now taken the plunge and gone to join Froome FM. So we've got our first guest was former FIFA and Premier League referee Mark Halsey. So it's a really good interview, and it's just something we like doing, like yourself, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. So coming to you then, a Liverpool fan. How did you become a Liverpool fan?
Well, it's a very, very interesting story. When I moved down to Froome in Somerset, where I live, I moved down when I was about 11 years old, and I used to follow a club called Wolves. Now, down here, they didn't really hear of Wolves at school. So in the playgrounds, when you're playing football and you like to pretend to be your best player as you are on the ball, and I used to love Steve Bull, who was a striker back then, and the people down here didn't know who he was. So I was on holiday down in Bournemouth, and my parents had let me and my brother run off to the arcade. And on our way down, we went past a shop, a local sports shop, an old shop. And as I walked past the window, I saw a shirt in the window, and it was a cream shirt. It was a Liverpool shirt. And I looked at that shirt and I thought, my goodness, I thought that looks really good. And it's really weird and surreal. I was drawn in. And I literally, went back to my parents and I said, look, I support Liverpool. And they're like, where did that come from? And from there, I went home, and the match that was on was a game against Newcastle at Anfield when Liverpool were 3-0 up, and it went back to 3-3. And then Stan Collymore scored in the 93rd minute to make it 4-3 to Liverpool. And I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. That's one of the better ones we've had on there. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's all coming from parents and kind of family members, and that's a really interesting story. So staying with you, I believe you've got Burnley in about 40 minutes' time. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. I think we need some goals. To be honest, at the moment, I think is burnout a factor? There's so many things going around with Liverpool at the moment. But when you step back and take stock and just say, well, look, we've had major injuries, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, every club gets injuries, but it's not often you get the best centre-back in the world injured, and then one of the best youthful England prospect centre-backs injured. Your Matip seems to be made of Weetabix. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on the team. So to still be in fourth position and only to lose 2 games, I think I'll take that. With a favourable draw in the Champions League, we need to win tonight. I know with the team news that's just come out now, Charlie Taylor's making a return to Burnley at left back. That's very important for them. But a tactical change by Jurgen Klopp this evening is with the exclusions of Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah. So clearly there's an issue up front at the moment. There's no goals for 3 games. And he's gone with Divock Origi and Shaqiri, which says to me there's a slight change of formation. So he's gone with Wijnaldum, who captains the team, with Thiago tucked in behind, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how we play. But look, one thing's for sure, I think we need to win this tonight, because if we don't, I think, as I say, the crows start to circle and then things start to get quite difficult for Liverpool. And if we're not careful, if we don't win tonight, it's not going to be too long before people start saying, well, look, do we just concentrate on the Champions League? I know that's a crazy analogy to come out with. It's still very early. But let's be honest, we need to win tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could decide whether you're still up for the title race. These games that you need to be winning. But Dave, coming back to you, we were talking about the FA Cup, and I've got to be honest, I did watch Liverpool United, and we did a big preview about it. We hyped it up, and oh god,
Usual.
And it was,
yeah, it was.
Usual. They always are. Always built up, and they, didn't live up to expectations. We'd have liked a 3-2 our way, obviously, but 0-0. Could have won it at the end, couldn't we, United?
Yeah. So how do you think you can improve that to come up against Liverpool again in kind of a rematch, I'd like to call it, in the FA Cup at the weekend?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I think he will play a second string and maybe 4 or 5 different sets. I think Klopp will as well. So I think it comes down to who's got the better second 5, if that makes sense. He'll probably play, Maguire and a couple of others. But I think it's just who's a better team on the day. I want to win, obviously, but if we don't win at the moment, the way we're playing in the league, we want the league back. So that's our priority at the moment, especially given a chance of where we are and we were 2 months ago. It's just outrageous where we are at the moment.
Definitely. And Dad said Dave was more entertaining in the preview than the game. Yeah, the preview, we hyped that up. There was a bit of A bit of banter there. Hyped it up for possibly one of the worst games of the season, in my eyes. But just before we bring our next guest on, T, I'd like to come to you. How much do you think how much do you think the youngsters have been a revelation for Arsenal's kind of lift in form? Do you think?
Oh, hugely, hugely. I think that we need to do a big cull at Arsenal, and you can see the big news is Ozil's gone and Socrates has gone, and the youngsters have been playing together all through the academy, and now they're of an age and a stage where they're mixing youth with experience, and I think you'll see in the next generation. But as I said to you when I was on before, in the same way when Ollie came to Man U and you languished a bit below in the table, again everybody was giving him stick, but now look where United are, and it's time. Like when we started the whole conversation, the youngsters want instant results and easy answers, whereas old school, me being supporting Arsenal for 50 odd years, time is the greatest thing to work together. But I think the youngsters are brilliant. Just watch out for Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Nelson, Joe Willock. They're fabulous, and they will come in, and we'll be right up there with you guys again very soon. Don't you worry.
Took Klopp 5 years, didn't it?
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah,
James.
It was 5 years. It was 5 years to get it. It was 5 years to get it, but it was a gradual build-up. I mean, it's not often you get 97 points and miss out by 1 point. At that point, I thought, we're never going to win it. I honestly thought that was going to happen. But look, we're back. United know it. We know it. And it's game on, isn't it? Yeah. Now for the next few seasons at least.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And can I just say a nod to my Southampton family and friends? Look at that much talked about 9-0, Southampton losing to Leicester, and we actually had the misfortune to be at that match. And now look at the way Southampton are playing as a team and gelling. Again, stick by your manager, support your local team, and keep with it, thick and thin. You're a fan; it's in your heart.
Yeah. You got to,
stay there.
Definitely. Dave and T, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'll make sure you go over to Dave's YouTube channel, Proper United. Great channel, and thank you for you two for coming on.
Take care. Enjoy.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
So a couple more fans coming on now. We've got another James who's a Spurs fan. James, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Jake. You all right?
Yeah, I'm very well. And another fan dipping into the championship as we've had the news today. Who also runs his YouTube channel. Let me just get me thing. Adam, how are you?
Happy. Come on, Jake. You have it no longer Cardiff manager. Absolutely fantastic.
We'll get onto that in a minute. And I watched your video earlier. And, I could tell you were happy that he was gone. But James, coming to you for Spurs fan, you've never been on before. So how did you become a Spurs fan as you are today?
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm a Spurs fan, which is very up and down. Not quite as bad as being a West Ham fan, I will say, Jake. So I feel sorry for you, my man.
Hey, I'm a Cardiff fan. It's even worse.
We'll try a 30-year drought for a title.
Yeah, we'll try that, yeah.
So I actually, in my early days, I started going to watch Swindon Town, which is one of our local clubs around here. We don't have any Premier League clubs around here, really. They're all in League 1 and League 2. So Swindon Town was where I did a lot of my early football watching. My father used to take me to the county ground from about the age of 5. He used to go down there. It was actually the year they won the league, 95, 96, and they were champions of the old Division 2. James, you'll know this man very well. Ex-Liverpool, Steve McMahon was player-manager that year. And they had Mark Walters as well on the wing. And Kevin Horlock as well was playing from, if you remember him.
Yeah.
Kevin Horlock, good player. So that was what I did. And then the first Premier League game I went to was Tottenham versus Newcastle in 1999. It was just after they won the Worthington Cup. and they won 2-0, and Klinsmann scored, and Les Ferdinand. So from there, I was a Tottenham fan, and obviously Swindon. I still support Swindon as well, but quiet
Yeah.
these days.
I mean,
So that's how I became a Tottenham fan.
I mean, there's just one word to sum it up in it. One word: Lanzini. Moving on.
Well,
So
it was nice of you to get us all in the cup final.
oh well, I have to say, you think it's our cup final, but you bang on about it more than we do. I have to say.
Yes, Jake.
So, Adam, coming to you, the news broke earlier today that Neil Harris has been sacked as Cardiff manager, and I can tell that you're happy about that decision. So just tell me, let's just run through it for us. Why was he sacked? Should he have been sacked? Well, I think I can answer that for you from your questions. But just take us through his reign and how you think he did, and should he actually have been sacked?
Well, in my opinion, he shouldn't have had the job in the first place. It was too big for him. The only thing he had done was bring Millwall from League One up to the Championship. That's the only thing he'd done on his CV. We come down from a Premiership at that time. We're still in receipt of parachute payments from a Premiership. And he have bought rubbish, wasted money. And last year he done really well. We were late coming in and we got to the playoffs. But this year he doesn't do anything apart from 4-4-2. He got no plan B. And if we lose on Saturday now against Barnsley, we would equal a club record of amount of defeats in a row. It'd be 7 in a row. And he should have went a long time ago, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I've watched some of your videos, and you're kind of saying that he's more of a salesman than a manager.
Yeah, good talker, very good talker in a post match interview, but he just says the same thing. You know, I'm gutted, I'm disappointed. Well, I tell you what, if you're disappointed, mate, change it. You know, we had a defence which was leaking goals all the time. He never changed a defender for 5 games.
You're only 3 wins off of the playoffs. Do you see what I mean? So the next man coming in's actually got something to work with. So the board have obviously made the decision at the right time.
If I'm honest with you, a lot of Cardiff fans would agree with me. He should have went after the Wickham game. It would have given a new manager, 2 or 3 weeks extra going into January. He would have had a look. But fingers crossed, Tony Pulis, I think.
Yeah.
Is he a bit of a spent force now, Pulis?
Well, Tony Pulis was brought up in Newport, a Cardiff fan when he was younger. You've actually applied for the job on 3 occasions in the past. But I personally think a lot of these guys are Neil Warnock type players. So a lot of direct football we've been playing, which I got no problem at all on that. But I think Neil Harris's problem was he wanted to change the style. Well, if you change the style, you need to change your players. So Allardyce has gone to West Brom. I think Pulis now is out of a job. And he knows Cardiff. I think that's a right fit at this moment in time. Because if we don't sort it out, we're going in a relegation battle.
Very interesting. So James, coming back to you, we talked to Dave about it. James, about Man United, Liverpool, and for you, where do you think it can kind of change for, as I said, the rematch for Liverpool to come out and to come against hopefully the Mighty Hammers in the 5th round of the FA Cup?
Well, I'll take a game against West Ham, but the thing is, with the draw against West Ham, if we get through, that is, you don't know which one's going to turn up. If the one that turns up that's been playing well, that's a tough game. That's a tough game. West Ham are historically a big club, as we all know, and some of the players that they've got there are game changers. But in terms of the Manchester United match away from home, we never do well at Old Trafford. You can pick out probably in the last 15 years, 1 or 2 results where we've actually won there. I remember the 4-1 win when Andrea Dossena lobbed the goalkeeper there to when we thought we were going to win the league that year. We didn't. But what I will say is this. I think it's all on team selection. I think a lot rests on tonight's result in terms of how that FA Cup game is going to go. If we don't win tonight, I think I really feel that there's going to be some problems, because if we don't win tonight, you can then start to say, well, we're slipping back now. So the FA Cup then could be potentially very important. Therefore, as team selection, he may have to go big. If we win tonight, Jurgen Klopp will probably revert back to type, and he never usually selects a strong team in the FA Cup. In all of his years, Liverpool have never gone past the fourth round with Jurgen Klopp in the FA Cup. So I think a lot really depends on today's result.
Yeah,
big game
it
in
does.
the league on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. So James, coming back to you. In terms of Spurs, you play Wickham in the FA Cup. I'm sure 99% of the fan base are on Wickham's side for this, but are you confident? You've got to be confident going into that, aren't you?
Yeah, we've had very kind draws in everything this year. You look at the draw we've had en route to the Carabao Cup final, the Europa League knockout stage draw has been kind to us. We got the lowest ranked team in that, Wolfsberger. I thought Wolfsberg to start with. I thought, I don't know about that. And then I saw it was Wolfsberger, and I thought, brilliant. So we've had kind draws this year. Obviously, we had Marine in the last round. I think you'll see a similar side to what played Marine in the last round. Hopefully, Carlos Vinicius will get a run out again, and it obviously allow us to rest some players ahead of Thursday. We'll play Liverpool. So I think
Yeah.
we'll get through that. And with as well, they might have one eye on the league themselves. They might see us a bit of a free hit. He might rotate as well. What's his name? The
Yeah.
manager, the long-haired guy. What's his name? Gareth Ainsworth. So he might
Yeah.
also play a slightly rotated side as well. So I think it'll be a routine win for us. No issues there.
Yeah, definitely. So for you, it looked good at the start of the season. Are you still in the title race, or is that over for Spurs this season, do you think?
I don't think we were ever in the title race. I'm going to be honest. Anyone that knows me, I'm a very realistic Tottenham fan. Even when we were top of the league after the Chelsea game, I still didn't really ever think we were in the title. I just don't think we've got the players in the squad to go and really make a push. I know Leicester are doing well at the moment. They're the same. I don't think that with us, Leicester, you could add Everton into the mix. I don't think we're really genuine. I think it is a straight 3-horse race between United, Liverpool, and Man City. Where we fit into the mix, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't say we've ever even been title contenders. The media like to play it out, but any realistic Tottenham fan with half a brain knows that we were never in that title race. I think we're certainly in the mix of top 4. We could finish anywhere from 2nd to 6th, and I wouldn't be surprised.
That's interesting. So Adam, coming back to you then.
Yeah.
So so you said Tony Pulis is the man for you. Do you think that Cardiff are in a relegation battle, and what do if Pulis comes in, or whatever manager, what do they need to do to win kind of the squad and finish in a positive place for Cardiff?
The defense has been a right problem, and I don't know why we with Warnock we built a team from the back all the time, and we've been hard to beat. If I'm honest with you, it looks like players are down tools, and I think just a change of personality in a changing room, I think will give them a kick up the backside. I hope.
Yeah, so you think then that is there still hope for a kind of a positive finish at the end of the season for you, do you think?
Well, your colleague Rich said we're not far from playoffs. There's a lot of teams involved. The problem with the championship, everyone beats everybody, and I don't think we'll have the legs to make a playoff as long as we keep out the relegation zone. That's all I want now. That's all I want.
Yeah, interesting. James, and Adam, thank you for coming on to talk about Neil Harris and Cardiff situation. But the other two, James, thank you very much for coming on tonight, and we'll get you on very soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Well done, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Right, then we're going to delve into a big dungeon of West Ham now, and to do that with, we've got a couple of West Ham fans to do that with. We've got who's usually in the comments of the videos. Philip Demacoli. Phil, Philip, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Jake, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. And we've also got Gary, who's a West Ham fan as well. Good evening, Gary. How are you?
Hi, Jake. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Let's start. I think the first place we've got to start is the game against West Brom. So Phil, we'll start with you. It's another win on the board, isn't it?
It is another win on the board. I'm really happy about that. Also getting one over Big Sam. Yeah, I know there's a bit of dodgy dealings about why Snodgrass wasn't playing for West Brom, but
Yeah.
I don't know about that. The important thing is we won. Whether we were a better team or not, that's a different discussion. And it's 3 more points, and we're getting ever so closer to the top of the league.
Oh dear. So Gary, coming to you. I mean, it's looking positive, isn't it? Because we weren't playing our best. Antonio, for me, wasn't at full fitness, and we're still getting the wins. Yes, I know they're not the best sides in the league, but we're 8 points. Is it 8 points or something until 40 points? It's looking very positive at West Ham at the moment, isn't it, Gary?
No, you're absolutely right, Jake. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We're not playing well, but we're still winning. Now, when was the last time we did that? Many, many years ago. So it's nice. And for the first time, I was watching us against Burnley and West Brom, and normally I'm biting my fingernails, but I never felt like we were going to lose. You know, I felt comfortable. Ogbonner's just amazing at the moment. He's so steady at the back, and we just don't look in trouble. I think Moyes has got some self-belief in there, and I think we can stay top 10, depending injury-free. I think we could do well this season.
Yeah, we'll come on to injuries and transfers in a minute. But let's go into kind of the starting 11, and we'll start Fabianski in goal, good as always. The 2 unlikely centre backs, Dawson and Ogbonner. That's another good 5 games. Soufal's good on that right hand side. Creswell's good. Obviously, we've got the Buffet in the middle, potato salad, and Rice there, good as always. Bowen, amazing. Antonio, not as his full fitness, but a goal on the board. And Ben Rama, yeah, it was good. Lanzini, for me, I don't think he had the best of games, but Phil, it's looking very up. I couldn't really. For me, I think there was a moment when in that game where I thought that when we should have came out in the second half and really just done them over, because that would have saved Craig Dawson from his clean sheet record. But yeah, it's looking very up. And what about that partnership in the middle of defence? I mean,
Well, it's unlikely, isn't it? Who would have thought that at the start of the season? A lot of us were moaning about bringing in Craig Dawson, but you know, he come in, he's done a good, solid job in there, and yeah, I mean, 3 clean sheets in a row with him in defence, and now
4,
obviously
was it 4, 3? Yeah, 4.
whatever
I
it
think.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, rock solid in defence. I reckon he'll stay in for the Doncaster match as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good to have a couple of solid defenders that you can rely on for a change.
Yeah, well, I think that for me personally, when we bought in, there was a lot saying, "Oh, he's just a waste of money, just going to be there wasting the wage bill." But Gary, I mean, come on, he's been very good, hasn't he, Craig Dawson?
He's been excellent. I mean, he scored the winning goal against Stockport as well, which got us out of difficulty there. He had a good chance on against West Brom. He probably should have done better with that, to be honest, but he's not paid to score goals. But Jake, you've got to talk about the comedy moment of the whole game with Antonio running down and I can't remember. He just pushed him out of the way and sent him into the stand pretty much. He just carried on running. What a legend.
Who needs Akin Fenwell? That's proper beast mode.
Yeah, definitely. Phil, I don't know whether you saw on West Ham Clips' kind of thing where he sent him all the way up to space, and I mean, come on, Mikel Antonio is an absolute. I mean, he's injury prone, and for me, let's just talk about him and his injuries, Phil, because I think. For me personally, I think it would be criminal to start him on Saturday against Doncaster. For me, I think that's just asking for trouble. We don't know what's happening with nothing. It's all been kept quiet about Mipo Odebeko, whether he's self-isolating, whether he was just completely rested. I hope he was completely rested, so he's ready to come out for to start the game, because really, you can't start Antonio on Saturday, can you?
No, I totally agree with you. Hopefully, they're just fake rumours about Odebeko, and if he can start the game, that'd be brilliant. Obviously, we know about the injuries of Antonio. His hamstrings are more like cheese strings, so you don't want to ruin him even more, especially after we're just trying to get him back to 100% fitness after the last injuries he's just come back from. If we're going to rest him, and unfortunately Odebeko can't play, then I don't know who would play up front. Possibly Yama. Possibly. But it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard, Gary. It's hard, isn't it? Because I think that for me, if Mipo Odebeko, if he isn't there and ready to start, I think honestly, I hate it, but I think honestly, Yarmolenko, in a situation where we aren't winning, he is a bit of a donkey for me. I really think that he's just not there, and I think I'd prefer him to be up front than on the wing, because then he doesn't have to track back with the defending, because he can't really defend. If those two are out, would you play Yarmolenko up top?
No, I probably wouldn't. I mean, it seemed like for the last 5 minutes when Antonio went off on Tuesday, they played Bowen up top. So maybe that could be an option as well. I mean, it is Doncaster. You'd think that Bowen would have the skills to stay up front. If he played it on the ground, played with his strengths, used his speed, hit it in the channels between the centre backs and the fullback, rather than lump it up, I think it would work. And Bowen is a willing runner. He's got pace. He can finish. I think that'd be a better bet than Yarmolenko. I tend to agree with you, Jake. He's a bit cumbersome at times. He's got a lovely left foot on him, and he set up the goal with a good header. But he hasn't got much pace, and he's a little bit, as you say, a little bit clumsy at times. But so I'd play Bowen myself. That's what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, is the cup run on, Phil? Is the cup run on?
Yes, it is. Yeah, sort Doncaster out, and then I don't care who we play against, whether it's Man United or Liverpool. We'll smash them, and then we'll see who's in the quarter-final. This is probably the best chance to actually have a decent cup run for a change.
Yeah, definitely. And I think obviously what's the word? It's been stacked on us playing Liverpool or Man United. For me, I'd rather play Liverpool, because for me, I think they are fragile at the moment, and I think we've got enough to beat Doncaster. We'll say that we got very close against Stockport, but I think we've got enough to get through them, and I think it's not like it's in the league. It's a one-time show kind of thing, and I think Gary, we can have a real go at them, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We should do. We should go for it from right from the start. I think it'll make some changes. I think people like Ben Johnson and Diop will play. Balbuena probably will play. So the back will probably change a bit. I'm interested to see what he does in the middle. But we haven't got too many options. So yeah, I think we should really go for it, because, as you say, this is our chance for a trophy. I fancy Liverpool as well. Even Manchester United. I mean, they beat us 3-1 at our place when I was there, but the whole game I thought we dominated, and that fluky goal that went out the pitch and came in, and after that it changed. But I thought we looked comfortable against Manchester United, so I don't think we should fear anybody in a one-off game this season. So, as Phil said, I think we've got a chance.
Exactly, and that's why I do think the cup runs on. I think really we could face anybody, because we're going past a very good opponent, whoever it is, Liverpool or Man United, but we can definitely get past them. You alluded to the starting 11 there. I mean, Ogbonna, he needs a rest at somewhere. He is human, Phil, and he's human, and with Rice and Souček in the midfield as well, they need a rest somewhere. I dread to think how many minutes those have played in the last kind of couple of months or so. I mean, what would you do? Because it's hard to not unset it. Not unsettle the back line and the midfield too much, but then we've got to give some of these key players a rest in there somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, I don't know who we can put in. I mean, it's easy to rotate the defenders around, but when with the central midfielders, obviously you've got Noble who can come on. Rice and Souček, they've obviously been really irreplaceable throughout the whole season. So if we can get a couple of the under-23 lot in, good to see them get a little run around. And then we can always, rotate the attacking midfielders like what we've been doing anyway this season.
Yeah. How about put in there, Phil? How about putting Diop as a defensive midfielder? What do you think about that?
Diop, you say?
As a defensive midfielder?
Well, don't see why not. Give it a bash.
Give it a go, because I think people have been saying kind of Lanzini, and no, not for me. He's an attacking midfielder, but for me, he's past his years, bless him. And since that injury, I think there's been hints of it, but I think that pretty much summed it up against West Brom, Gary, don't you think? And I wouldn't like to see him. He's a bit, lightweight, and I think he's not kind of set out for the central midfield, do you think?
No. I mean, I think you're right. Since his injury, he's not been the same player, but anyone who scores a 94th minute equaliser against Spurs will always be in my good book. So I won't have a word said against him, but I tend to agree. I think his best days are past him. If we can get some money for him, we should shift him on, I think.
Yeah. Right, so we've pretty much done that, but before we get into it, let's go predictions. Right, I've got to get that right. Right, it is that way. Phil, what's your prediction? It's got to be a win, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 for us.
A lovely, comfortable, no drama would be absolutely fantastic, please. No drama. Gary, come on then. What's your prediction for Saturday's game?
Well, I'll go for 2-1 just to make it a little bit more tense.
Oh, God. Right. So moving on, there is a comment that I'd like to come on to about this, and this is from I believe this is Paul. Still can't believe you boys let Snodgrass go. And to be fair, it was the right move for him, but we'll come on to transfers now. Phil has left our team on the edge of an absolute nightmare, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've always been a fairly thin squad anyway.
Yeah.
It was a shame to see Snodgrass go. I mean, I said it before in another video with you that he was always going to leave, but I would have liked to have seen him stay for the rest of the season, just because you never know what will happen.
Yeah.
And he would have been a perfect player to be put into this Doncaster match, because this would suit him down to the ground. But what else can you say?
Yeah, well, you can't really say anything else, and that's left us on the edge, very, very fragile, hasn't it, Gary? And we'll come on to the nightmare that's been strikers now, and Phil will come on to you in a minute. But I think, honestly, I'm just done with it, really. The amount of strikers we're being linked to, I think there's probably more strikers we've been linked to than there's people in my hometown. Honestly, we've been linked with every Tom, Harry, and Jim on the street, haven't we? And I think it's come out we've been linked with another player today. We put another bid in, and I think let's just get Dia in, and just get somebody, just get it done, hasn't it? Really, don't you think, Gary?
I think so. I mean, 2 points I'd make there. I read in the press that since Sullivan and Gold have been in charge, we bought 49 strikers. Now,
Yeah,
It's laughable. It really is.
according to me, in my experience, and Phil and you, Jake, might disagree with me, I think only 2 have been a success, and that'll be Carroll and Sacco. The others have not been that brilliant. And also, the other thing that really, really, really annoys me is we've got no policy, no transfer policy at all. If you're going to sell Haller, fair enough, sell him. But for God's sake, have someone lined up behind you. You don't just sell him and then start shopping. It's just
that's the problem. That's what we've always done.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember when we signed Andy Carroll on a permanent deal at £15 million, and we chucked all our eggs in that basket just to get him, and he was still injured? And then we didn't sign anybody else. We was linked with, I remember that, because we was linked with bringing back Demba Ba. We was linked with bringing back Carlos Tevez. I think we was linked with Lukaku, on loan from Chelsea at the time, and we ended up bringing in Mladen Petric on a free transfer, and he hardly played, and we got rid of him, and then we ended up bringing back Carlton Cole. So it is a joke. And also when we I think it was last season when we got rid of every single striker we had and only had Haller. it doesn't make no sense. But I'm
For
not
me-
surprised.
For me, here's the analogy. You sell your mattress and then you think the day after, oh, I better kind of, go on and try and buy one and then not have a mattress. It's the same with a striker. We've talked about talked about it on air, Phil. For me, it's got to be Dia. They've got to bring him in. For me, there's been the insiders that are saying we put other bids in, and for me, that suggests that they've kind of given up on Dia if they're putting other bids in for other players. We've heard this bloke, El Nazari. There's been another one today that I've just seen. Kind of go around the airwaves. I mean, the transfer kind of, or what's the word? The transfer strategy is, honestly, I can't get my head around it. I'm not sure any West Ham fan can.
Nah. Do you know the bad thing is that we're used to it?
Exactly, it's exactly the problem. We have no strategy. When you look at a club like Leicester, fantastically run club. I mean, each year they sell a star. They sell Kante, they sell Mahrez, they sell Maguire, they sell Drinkwater, they sell Chilwell. And where are they? Third, fourth? Because they've got a policy. They think he's going. I'm going to replace him with someone else. So it's just laughable how we rely on a 75-year-old guy to get our transfers in. Who's famous for other things, shall we say?
Yeah.
We need a policy. We need a director of football. So therefore, we know what we're doing. We just haven't got it.
Well, I mean, let's break this down. For me, we backed Pellegrini until the cows came home, and that completely failed. And for me, we've got them two old blokes. No, yes, I'm going to disrespect them, because really, they're the ones making the transfers. And there's been the list that have that clearly David Moyes has said he wants either Dia or whoever else. I don't care who it is, but then we're hanging around, kind of putting our feet in the water with other players. Just get them in, really, isn't it, Gary? Just get them in. And I think that we haven't got a director of football. We've had someone joined the board, but I won't say what they are live on a platform.
Pre-watershed.
Yeah. But honestly, it sums West Ham up, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really does. We've got a good, solid 11, maybe 13, 14 players, and after that, we are so thin, it's ridiculous. We're 1 or 2 away from a catastrophe. We're safe, but I would like to go next season again with such a paper thin squad. We need a strategy. We need to decide what we're going to do. If we have to sell Rice, sell him for 100 million and bring in 3 or 4 players. But we need to have a strategy. And that's what every fan wouldn't mind if we had a strategy. But it's, as Philip said earlier, we've done it for years and years and years. Even in John Lyle's day, we used to do it. We've never had a strategy. It's terrible.
It really is, and it just sums us completely up, doesn't it? Right, let's take a few comments before we move on. I hate to kind of just bang on about it, but it's just, honestly, it just gets on my nerves so much that, as you just said, Guy, we're 1 or 2 injuries away from an absolute catastrophe. And I think, if I'm being honest, we're 2 or 3 signings away from not being 2 or 3 quality signings backing the manager. Phil, we're not far off Europe, are we?
No. I mean, when you say 3 of players away from a quality team, you think of Liverpool, for example. For years, they was looking for a top decent goalkeeper and a really top class centre half. They do that, and look what they achieved. I'm not saying that we're going to go win Champions Leagues and Premier League and all that, but we said earlier about Leicester City as well. If we can just be like that and stop just, I can't say that. Messing around all the time. It's like when they used to go on and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to make bid for this person," and they're spouting it about all over social media. It's like, just get it done and stop wasting all of our time. Sort it out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's absolutely rubbish. Right, let's go through the comments now. Dad, we're going to Wembley. Well, West Ham will be. We won't be. That'd be such a silly West Ham thing. We'd all, honestly, for me, I'd take winning the FA Cup and that's it, because that would be, amazing. But could you imagine, Gary, us West Ham going on a European tour and no fans being allowed there? It would be such a West Ham thing, wouldn't it?
Typical West Ham. What do you guys think? Do you think we've done better with the people not in the stands? I think our home record's improved a lot since no one's been there. Maybe
Considering, yeah, well, the
carry
one
on
team,
we lost once, I think.
yeah, well, lost once when we had 2,000 fans back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love being there. I love going to away days more than going to home games. But just honestly, not being able to go there, I think it has actually helped the players. I think it's helped some players, the flair players that don't like it. But for me, I think for people like Rice and Noble, I think they'll just want to get fans back ASAP, won't they?
Oh, for sure. I mean, to be fair, if fans were there and seeing Noble play, then I don't think he'll like it that much. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
but it'd be good to see when fans do come back, whenever that is. I think the top quality players they'll love it. People like So Foul. He's not really. He ain't seen a full crowd yet. I think it'd be great for us to see him.
Yeah. So far for me, I like to be fair, he looks a bit like him as well. I compare him to Pablo Zabaleta in his prime because for me, I think down that right hand side, he is £5 million, another great signing for me to go along with David Moyes' Thomas Suchet's collection of players, and it's just absolutely kind of he's absolutely brilliant. Here we go. We are massive. Let's take it to these teams and keep these lads and wins going. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, and Dad's on about playing Diop in central defensive midfield. That's an option. I mean, we ain't got much else, have we, really?
No, I mean, I think he's young and he's tall and he's leggy. And I remember a run he made against Spurs a couple of years ago from the back. So I think
I remember
against Doncaster. I mean, it just gives Rice a break or Souček a break because they need a break. Because after the Saturday, we've got Palace away midweek and Liverpool home. And then, another 2 games in a week. And we need those guys for those. So for Doncaster, I would just try and experiment a bit.
Definitely. Where did the mattress pun come from was just the first thing that came into mind. And for me, this really sums up West Ham, doesn't it? Just got to beat Doncaster. Don't fear Liverpool or United. I'm sure some people are fearing Doncaster more than Liverpool or United because I mean the teams we've gone out to, Oxford. Who else did we go out to in that?
Wimbledon.
That's it, Wimbledon. And I completely agree with them if they say at the moment we fear Doncaster more than Liverpool or United because it really could be the kind of thing. I think it really could be that people fear them more because they think the upset's on, they're going to be up for it, and I think right. So let's move on to. I think he had a better game against West Brom. I think he bossed the first half. Saeed Benrahma. Gary, let's come to you first. Have you always been a fan of his, and do you think he's really gonna kind of set the Premier League alight at West Ham?
The jury's out at the moment. I think at the moment he shows it in nice patches. So there's a few nice touches. I was a bit confused when we bought him because when we sold Dean Garner, it was because we had too many wingers, and then we bought Benrahma in. He's another winger, so it's a bit odd. But I like him. I do like him. I think he needs a goal to get his confidence. You can see he's lacking a bit of confidence. He desperately wants that first goal. I think he just needs a few 90 minutes because Moyes used to take him off after an hour. So I don't know. The jury's out at the moment, to be honest, Jake. I don't dislike him, but I think he's certainly got potential. He's got nice feet for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, Phil, as you know, I'm a huge Benrahma fan and I want him to succeed in his highest, and I think he will. But there's a lot of fans out there that we've got our haters of people, haven't we? We've got our, who else we got? We had our Haller haters. We've got all of these haters that kind of just pick on Fornals haters that just pick on players week on week. And for me, he will come good at West Ham, but it is just going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, some players they just take a while to settle in. Some of the best players in the Premier League history, they took time to settle in. Yeah. Way back in the old days of Arsenal, players like Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, they didn't hit the ground running straight away, and they become legends. With us, some players they take their time. Winston Reid, when he first came to the club, he wasn't that great. One season later, and then he become a really integral part of our team. With Benrahma, I think.
Yeah. How much has Anton paid you to say that?
No comment.
Sorry, carry on. I just couldn't help myself.
That's all right. Benrahma. he definitely come good. Once he does get a goal, I reckon he'll get one, and then he'll go on a bit of a streak, and then he won't stop scoring.
Yeah.
I think with the so you've got that transfer fee at the end of the season. I can't remember if we have to pay that or not. I can't remember.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Have we got to? Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, so let's move on to. I mean, we mentioned him earlier before we wrap this up. But Angelo Ogbonna, for me, I think he's up there at the moment currently with one of the best centre backs in the league, with Van Dijk out injured. People are saying outside the top six. I honestly think he goes under the radar because it's West Ham. It goes under the radar. I mean, what a player! And even with Craig Dawson, let's just touch. I think, we mentioned him earlier. That I think that it's definitely he saved us in definitely a couple of games with kind of very, very good performances. But Angelo Ogbonna, Gary, we'll start with you. Honestly, I love the man.
I mean, he's been very good now for a season and a half. Last season he was very good. He was unlucky he didn't knock Hammer of the Year, but because Declan won it, I think he came runner up. But he's been immense. Honestly, I can't remember the last time he had a bad game. To be honest, he's always so reliable. And he's popping with the odd goal. He keeps clean sheets. He talks to people. I love the guy. I think he's fantastic. He's really good.
Definitely, and I think he's up there with, as I said, Phil. Don't you think up there with the best centre backs in the league, and it goes under the radar?
Absolutely spot on there. We always get the top six lot. They're always getting applauded, and our players never do. I think it's good that our ones are under the radar. With obviously Ogbonna, he's in his 30s now, so I don't think any big club's going to start tapping him up or anything. But yeah, no, he's definitely one of the best defenders that I've seen for us in a very long time. Especially, like we said, over the last year and a half, he's been outstanding. He's gotten better with age. It's just so classy and elegant when he's passing the ball around. Yeah, we're very, very lucky to have him, in his peak years now.
Yeah, I just put you on full screen because I just Googled something, and this, honestly, we paid £11 million for Angelo Ogbonna. £11 million, and I'd just like to say Manchester United paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. I mean, for me, there's no comparison within the players, is there, Gary?
No, I'm not a big fan of Maguire. I think there's always a mistake in him. I prefer Maguire every day of the week. As Phil said, he's very composed. He doesn't get ruffled. I can't remember the last time he was beaten by a man. So he handles pace well. He handles physicality well. He scores goals. He's in top form. I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but I hope we've got him signed up for another 2 or 3 years at least, because he looks immense at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Here we've got Oggy peeling off the back post, quality header. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, your Hammers 11, great Hammers 11. I haven't watched it all, but I've watched bits of it. So is there anything else you guys would like to talk about to do with West Ham before we kind of head off?
I think we covered it all.
So for a quick summary.
Where do you think we're in the league, Jake? What's your prediction for league finish this season?
We're going to go out there. Honestly, so I think if we don't get anybody in, I can see, or just a striker, I can see us getting kind of 8th, I think, 9th or 8th. But if we get a couple of players in, I'm going to go out there 6th or 7th. I really think it's that, and especially if we get Rama firing, Antonio firing uninjured. I think for me there isn't many better sides in the league. You might not agree with me, but I think honestly we are up there with a couple of improvements to our squad depth. I think we're up there for a cup run and to be in and around 7th.
Nice.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
So do I, definitely. We saw this. Oggy's skills on.
Oh yeah.
That was quality.
It was.
yeah, that was definitely that was very, very good. Phil and Gary, thank you very much for joining me tonight. We've done half hour of talking, not absolute nonsense, but we've talked some good stuff about West Ham. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Take care.
once again. Cheers.
Cheers,
Come on, you
guys. Come on, you Irons.
Irons.
Right, so that is it. Thank you very much for watching tonight. We've done just under just over an hour. I'd just like to say thanks, Jake, Phil, Gary, and the chat. No problem, mate. It was a great night again, live streaming, and yeah, it's been absolutely superb. Make sure you go. If you're a West Ham fan, we're gonna have a great night on My Hammers 11 later, 9 p.m. UK time in just under an hour. Ryan Archer takes on Stelios for the quiz crown. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching on this edition of A Big Talk About Football. But until next time, come on, you Irons, and I will see you very, very soon for a brand new video.